Today we're going to learn how a pro masters tough and effective basketball moves. This is a 3/4 spin step back from the mid-range, and Melvin has mastered this move since earlier years. Now we're just refining it. As you can see, there are minimal changes in movement between makes and misses, but you can see that the setup is initially very fast and intense, and the release usually ends up in a very similar way. So now we're just adjusting small nuances of the release and perhaps how much he's fading, etc. Here his brain is figuring out how much and what he needs to change. At this point of skill mastery, I don't need to give too much feedback or guidance because his skill mastery reflects that easily. His brain is able to figure out what went wrong and what should be adjusted. One of our rules when we train is that we shouldn't become too frustrated or irritated with missing. Instead, be practical about it. What is the pragmatic approach? Change small details to make the shot. Now here Baba is trying out the same move, but he hasn't mastered it or done it before in that same context, so he's trying to figure out how to move properly. His brain is evaluating all the different options while he's trying to make the shot at the same time, which makes this a little bit tougher when you're initially learning it. This is in neuroscience called long-term potentiation. So what the brain is basically doing is it's strengthening the neural network that responds to the correct type of movement that your brain remembers from what you think is correct, which in this case is correct technique in seeing the shot go in. And while the brain is developing, something called synaptic pruning is also happening, which is basically the removal of unnecessary neural networks or connections. So you can see the big differences here. One has more refined skill and neuromuscular facilitation, being able to use their muscles more correctly, more intensively, and more deliberately, whereas the other one is trying to figure out how to move properly while applying strength, intensity, and speed to make sure it doesn't go too slow, while also trying to remember mechanics to make sure the shot goes in. So with more basketball reps, more neuromuscular strength training, and ability to actually perform the moves, he will improve at this with a very impressive rate. And this is what's so impressive about learning and training with pros, because you get to see what to do and then you try to replicate it to the best of your abilities, which makes theoretical coaching and visual guidance from a pro with skill mastery that much more important.
Bro, helt okej.